Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. First of all, I want to apologize for two things. One, I'm sorry if you can hear the robins, they're very noisy today, and I'm sorry if you hear any traffic go by. Both are related to us having the windows open. It's a very nice day outside. It's about 70s, almost 80 degrees outside where I live in PA, and I've got the windows and the screen door open. So this video is kind of an update to a video I posted before. I'll leave a link to that video below, but the video is basically why I left Happy Planner. The Happy Planner system is a great system for those that can use it and make it work for them, and I'm not one of them. And the biggest challenge I was having at that time was that we were constantly on the go between ACDEC. I have 3 kids, 14, 10, and 8. And between academic decathlon, band, my older 2 are in band, my older 2 are in chorus, my oldest is also in jazz band. He's the one in academic decathlon. He was in the musical. All 3 of them were taking various dance classes and musical theater classes through a dance studio near us. And add that to the fact that they go to 3 separate buildings. My boys were having multiple therapy appointments, and it was just, we were constantly on the go, and that's just my kids' schedule. That's not my schedule between allergy shots and volunteering and dealing with our puppy and everything that comes with just being a mom and me. And we were constantly on the go. That the Happy Planner was not working for me. If you're interested in more about that, I'll leave the link below, but this is like an update to that. So what I used to replace that with was this number 6 Foxy Fix Traveler's Notebook. And ironically, when I filmed it, it was March. This is 2020, by the way, in case you're watching this and it's no longer 2020. And I know I was talking about how I had this thinner time bar that told me where I needed to be, what I needed to do, and like a task list for the day. And it was great. I loved it. I could bring it with me and have my laptop with me and still be able to do anything that I needed to do while we were there. So we have musical rehearsals and dance and volunteering. It's just everything I needed to do was all here. Until we were no longer on the go. I don't know what state you are in watching this, but for us in Pennsylvania, my kids' last day of school was March 13th. So everything from the 13th on, I was no longer on the go, basically. We stayed home. My kids and I stayed home for 5 weeks straight before we finally needed to, come out of our little foxholes. So yeah, this is the first week home. Incidentally, my husband stayed home from the 17th, March 17th on. And he was the one going out and getting groceries for us. He still has been doing that, by the way, occasionally. He went back to work in April. His job was considered essential by our state in April, so then at that time it became just me, but we'll get to that. This was no longer really working for me. As you can see, the task lists got shorter and shorter, and it just was no longer working anymore at all. And that's the end of this insert, and the same story continues into April. Here we go. So March 30th. This is when our school started doing enrichment, online enrichment. Also, I have not gone through here and taken out any Post-its, as you saw earlier. I've only covered up sensitive, confidential, private information. So yeah, this was no longer working for me. I needed structure, and this was not giving me structure. And at the time, I thought it was just because we were no longer on the go, that maybe the on-the-go planner was not necessarily the planner that I needed. Maybe, just maybe, what I needed was to go back to the Happy Planner. This was not what I needed. Spoilers. This was not what I needed. I tried to make it work. But it didn't. I cannot, there's a weird shadow there. I cannot do this much decoration. Not with my plans. I need plans to be functional, broken down. This was not working. Did I have fun setting this up? Absolutely. But as far as like planning something out, this was not working. So what I did was during this week, because this just looked like something vomited all over my page, I went to a different system. I didn't buy anything, don't worry. I used what I have on hand. For those of you following our budget journey. Sorry, Lilo. The planner just fell off my desk. What I did was I moved to a passion planner. Now, it doesn't come with this. I put this on there. You dug it out of the deep depths. It's from Once More with Love, and also these don't come with it. These are Hobonichi tabs from Coffee Monsters Co. But anyways, I had actually started the year in this planner as a content planner. That is actually how I started using this planner this year. Having everything making sense matter related in one planner and everything else, budget, household, catch-all in another planner. That was my happy planner. But what I found was in January, this also was not working for me. And that's part of what prompted me switching to the Traveler's Notebook, was that everything in one spot with me all the time. So as you can see, February is where I made that switch. And yeah, there's absolutely nothing here for February. And then we get into March. Again, this is where kids were then staying home and schools closed, obviously. But I started toying around with this and their Zoom schedules. So in my Traveler's Notebook is what I was still using fully at the time, but I started dabbling in using this and the Happy Planner, trying to find something that would work. What I found was that this was what I liked more. This was very broken down and very functional for me, and I could color code it, and it was almost minimalistic. Like, it's not totally minimal, because I know that there's people out there that use nothing but a singular pen in their planner, and that's fine, but that's not how my brain works. I need things to be designated out into different planners or by different categories, which is why I would use different planners, but I would still find that that doesn't work. So the color coding in here has worked for me. The broken down by time has worked for me. So here's where I really hit it hard. This is the same week where in that Happy Planner that fell off my desk, I'm not gonna pick it up, but in that Happy Planner, it was like, I'd said how it looked like something vomited all over my page. And this is a little bit more structured. Now, I can tell you in this particular week, this doesn't come with the Passion Planner. This you can print off their site for free. It's a weekly reflection, but I can tell you that this particular week, I was tracking my time. I was time tracking. So this color is appointments, non-negotiables. That's what that color is to me. It's this one from Mild Liner. It's kind of like a peachy coral. I have no idea what color it's coming up as on there, but this is non-negotiable appointments. That's what it is for me all the time between this or my Traveler's Notebook. It's the same color. Purple is anything related to blogging. Blue at this point was reminders, this light blue. I've since stopped using that, but this was very helpful in tracking my time. How was I spending my time? So the yellow is household, and then this purpley color is purpley pink, magenta-y. I have no idea what the name of the color is, was personal care. So I found that, using these colors, I was able to track my time effectively and see how I'm using my time. And again, I did it the following week as well, still using these colors, sprinkling in some stickers to make it look pretty. I also started using a habit tracker, water tracker. I am horrible at drinking water, plain and simple. That is who I am. Then we got into this week, and I noticed that I wasn't really using a to-do list anymore. One of the reasons why I love this Traveler's Notebook so much was that I could break down all the tasks into a to-do list. While I had that time blocking ability, I was no longer tracking to-dos. So I was trying different ways to track to-dos. And the other thing I noticed is that my to-do list, I was actually writing in projects, and I needed to break down those projects a lot better. So that kind of gets us into the end of March going into, the end of April going into May. I'm gonna take a step back to the to-do list. What I started doing was I printed off a passion planner daily, again on their site, just like the weekly review, and I started using this. I had a to-do list, and I would have the top things of the class, top things of the day, and then the to-do list where I could break it down, take notes, etc. And this was working wonders for me. This day, this is how it was. I did not put all these post-its in here. They are indeed covering up a different post-it though. But things from this day on started to change a little bit, and I will get into that because we're coming into May now. Basically, I had found out some news. My son's therapist was taking another job. I found that out on this day, and basically I don't know, I kind of hit survival mode. I realize he's not my therapist, but he has done so much for my boys that it was kind of like, now what do we do? And so that's kind of how we went about the rest of April. I really enjoyed the daily format. I really enjoyed being able to take notes. I enjoyed breaking these color-coded things down into simpler tasks. It stopped that feeling of I have all projects here, not tasks. I need tasks. And so I was able to get tasks in here. And so coming into May, I had purchased the daily. Again, the daily doesn't come like this. This was something else that I had already had on hand, and I put it in there, but I was using the daily. It was still giving me that I could decorate a little bit, but it's still very functional. It's still very blocked off, very color oriented. I can see what's going on. So this here is that first week of May. So as you can see, I got very minimal in what was here now compared to what was in April, and that's because I was using the daily. This became more time blocking rather than time tracking, and I was still at a disjunct. And it was around this time that I had purchased, I didn't purchase it, it was free, Jordan Page's Productivity Boot Camp. It was free for the month of May, and I started working on that, where she talks about time blocking. And I was kind of already doing that in the first place, but I started to implement it a little bit more as we were working through May. So you can see I'm still taking notes over here and trying to block off chunks of time depending on my different categories, what exactly I did that day. And it's, again, still able to take notes over here. It was around this week here that I started implementing her system a little bit more. I wound up no longer using the daily, and I purchased her productivity planner light. It's $13. I wasn't a huge fan of spending $13 on something that I could have easily created and did wind up creating. However, premise behind it I do agree with. So in that respect, this is very helpful. Just there's certain things about the setup I didn't particularly care for. For instance, she gives you 6 blocks here. Now in the course, she also talks about how you could have up to 8 blocks, but in the planner she only gives you 6. The other thing was that I didn't really particularly care for was praying. I realized she's very religious. I am not. That was something I didn't care for. However, breaking things down into things that need to be done in the morning or in the evening, any notes, what your meals are, and blocking things out, I did enjoy. And I found this to be exceptionally helpful. And so for all of this week, that's exactly what I did. I tried to block my day out and how she uses it. This still didn't work the greatest for me. And I was still trying to reconcile with their therapist leaving, and there's a lot of things going on this month, and around this time we were ending their school. There was a lot going on that something had to give. And what wound up giving, to be totally honest, was blogging. I was just overwhelmed at this point. I can tell you right now, I don't have anything in the Passion Planner Daily for this week. Her Productivity Planner Light that I printed, I didn't even use that. I was overwhelmed. And so I took this week, the week of May 25th, to work on things around the house. That weekend leading into, we did nothing but work in the garden, and I cleaned up my daughter's room. The weekend before, we wound up cleaning up my son's room, minimizing things in there. And this week, I kind of did the same. And there were a lot of current events going on this week. The week of May 25th, that I just got so overwhelmed and just needed to take a step back. Now getting into June, I found a groove. I'm back at it again. So what I am doing now is I still come back to these colors as far as, you know, helping block my time out. How did I spend my time that day? Did I spend my time wisely? What I have done is I've taken the concept of the productivity planner and turned it into something that I can use. Now, again, another traveler's notebook. Jordan talks about how you should have a to-do book. So it's basically all your to-do lists. She has her productivity planner that she uses, but she also has a to-do book. And what I have done is I've kind of combined the two. So this is a Foxy Fix number 7. I bought this at the same time I bought the black one, the number 6, this one. This was also a mystery sale item. It is the same size as the Moleskine Cahiers, however you want to, I don't even know how to say it. The Moleskine notebooks that you can find at Target. That's why I got the number 7. I can easily find the notebooks at Target and put them in here. So what I did was, because she advocates for a to-do book for things that, you know, if you're in the car and you think of something that you need to do, you jot it down in your to-do book. Well, this isn't necessarily my in the car to-do book. This comes with me throughout the house. If I'm back in the laundry room folding laundry, I bring this with me, because as I'm folding laundry, I probably think of something that's like, oh yeah, I need to do that. Don't forget to, and I'll write that down in here. So that's what I have in here, is a to-do. The first book is the to-do book. The second book in here, on this second string, is my mix of the Passion Planner Daily and the Productivity Planner. I enjoyed the roadmap, the monthly roadmap in the Passion Planner Daily, but I also enjoyed how the Productivity Planner was set. So I use 6 blocks, ironically enough. I could totally add in a 7th, I just don't. Trying to condense it. I realized the 6 blocks in her planner was something I had a beef with, because you could use 7 or up to 8, as she says. And again, I could put a 7th in here. What I have is I have the morning and the times that runs to, an in or out block. Am I in the house or am I out of the house? And I will circle whichever it is, and these are usually the times. This is not always the case though. My work block, so things that I would like to get done for Making Sense Matter and my Etsy shop and everything, are afternoon block, evening block, and then nighttime block. And on the other side here, I note what's for breakfast, because breakfast comes in the morning block. What was for lunch, because that's at the end of the in or out block. What do we have for snack? And what was for dinner, because that goes with the afternoon block. I also have a space down here for any notes, and then 4 things that I'm trying to track every day. And that was one thing I didn't mention in the Passion Planner, was I was able to start habit tracking. Did I do the laundry from start to finish that day? Did I journal that day? Did I vacuum or Swiffer? And it's not necessarily that I needed to do it that particular day. It was when was the last time we did this? Because there's a lot of dog hair on the floor. Just little things to keep track of. So far I like it. I also have, very similar to the number 6 that I use, I have a week at a glance. So these are the things that need done this week. That is kind of an update to how I am planning now. Still kind of the same structure wise, but a little different. Again, I do still use this traveler's notebook on the go when we are on the go. You know, I'll stick like our mortgage payment in there or something. This is still on the go. Things that I need to jot down and everything with while I'm out, this is what I use. But this, in conjunction with my Passion Planner, is how I have been planning things lately. If you want to see how I'm kind of using these in conjunction, like I said, it's kind of hard to explain it as a walkthrough, but I can certainly do some plan with me's. Let me know in the comments below, or like this video if you want to see some plan with me's, if you want to see more planning videos besides just my usual budgeting stuff. If you want to see more of my videos, please click that subscribe button. And until next time. Bye.